are not at quorum yet, we're still waiting for one more. We'll go ahead and start. We just won't conduct any votes yet. So we'll go ahead. We will move from. We'll start with the second committee. We'll move over approval of the agenda and approval of the minutes. We'll go straight into public comments. So any public commenters in the room? There are 9 people. We need 10. Remarkable, who's counting? We'll go ahead and public comment. So the first round of public comment will be audio only, so your voice will only be heard, you will not be seen. So we'll go ahead and start audio only public comment with 2 minutes. Get my timer going. Okay, so we'll start with public comment. Right here.
Hello everybody, I'm Jacqueline from Calgary. And this here is Tim. He's from my outreach team. So today I'm here to tell you about our pledge week. So this is our first pledge week. All the other UC Calgary chapters, they are pledging as well. So we already collected about 160 pledges. So that means like 163 students educated about the California background referendum coming up in 2016 like ballot. And also the students will become more educated about health, student activism, and be more involved. Also, this is really last minute, but we have our text conference tomorrow at 11. It'll be out in the free speech area. So our students, they will be releasing a report about the rising cost of textbooks and what students think about. Like we did a survey about the rising cost of textbooks, and yeah, so everybody's invited to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now go ahead and turn the video back on. Thank you, Heather. We'll go to the second round of public comments. So this is audio and visual, meaning you will be heard and seen. So we'll start over here.
Question heard. Also, isn't it funny we have a free speech area on campus? Yeah, it's hilarious. Okay.
Seeing no other public comments, we'll go ahead and close public comment at 7:11. Next up, we'll move on to special presentations. And as soon as Lexi gets here, we'll go on the agenda. Just know it is still here. So we're going to move on our special presentation, which is for myself in my office. Hi, everyone. Heather, you're in charge. 15 minutes for special presentation, 5 minutes for questions. Please feel free to chime in. Okay. Hi, everyone. You already know me, so I'll let everyone introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aditi. I'm the Chief of Staff and Heather USAC Office President.
I'm Rita. I'm the Security Officer. And the USAC Office President, and I'm also the Project Director.
All right, thank you. So a little bit of introduction for you all. We're voting on a resolution on this later this evening. But this Friday, my office will be presenting to ASU CLA Services Committee about finding a space on campus to have a student food co-op. So this is part of the food security initiative, and I know a lot of your offices have worked on it. Marvin sits on the food security work group with me, as well as Zach Damron. So this is definitely something that USAC has been focusing on. So what is food security? So this conversation really started at the UCOP level. So they have their global food initiative, and through that they're given $850,000 for all of the UC. So UCLA got $75,000 that was given to the food security work group, which I sit on, and that work group decided to allocate it to certain initiatives on campus. One of the things was a graduate student research director who would be researching food security. So a lot of it is the educational background as well as the programming and initiative background as well. So we got $2,500 from the work group to start a student-led food co-op. Another initiative that got money was the CPO Food Closet. And I also want to specify that this is very different from the CPO Food Closet because this is for perishable produce. So we have been working with CPO in accordance with that for kind of both of things to have a more cumulative food security initiative here on campus. So food security is three pillars: food security, availability, access, and use. This is a definition from UCOP. So availability, specific qualities of food available on a consistent basis. access is having sufficient resources to obtain appropriate foods for a nutritious diet, and use is the appropriate use and knowledge of basic nutrition and care, as well as adequate water and sanitation. So this is what we define as the three pillars of food security. This is statistics from the 2014 Hunger America report. So this is about food security and feeding America at the national level. So some very interesting statistics was 31% of Americans choose between education or their food. So one thing that I commonly bring up is that people are quite literally choosing to buy a textbook or paying for their next meal. 57% of people choose between housing or food. 79% purchase unhealthy food. This is a very important statistic because a lot of what we perceive as being affordable food costs, fast food options, are things that are not necessarily true nutritious for us. 55% of people that are considered part of the hunger or hungry level are between the ages of 18 and 59. And 46.5 million people in the U.S. are suffering from food insecurity. A lot of research was done at UC Berkeley. They're the ones who've really been heading this from the graduate level of research. So this is a statistic from 2010. I'd like to point out that this is very underreported and it does not incorporate grad students. You can kind of see UCLA is down here. Yeah. So the 13% range for often or very often skipped meals, students saying I cannot afford to eat a certain meal of the day, so skipping it because of affordability issues.
But at the same time, there isn't the same push as far as like information in UCLA as there is in Berkeley. So like this information is like perhaps like not as common.
Yeah, exactly. So at Berkeley they do have a food was it food pantry? What do you call it? Food bank.
They're there's like we definitely have more of like the food security stuff in Berkeley, but like I guess it's Santa Barbara is like
yeah.
Which we will talk about next.
Yeah.
But
the reason why that's important is because they have facilities where they have surveys, so students can come into these and say I'm suffering from food insecurity for this reason and this reason. Whereas at UCLA we do have our different resources, but there's no really survey or studies analyzed. So this is from the Summer Global Food Initiative Food Access and Security Leadership Retreat. So this is kind of where they decided from the UCOMP level where the money would go, what food security meant throughout the UC system. And so the food metrics included advocacy, student-wide UC system-wide collaboration, off-campus partnerships. So we work a lot with two entities on Hillgard. The church and Hillel work right next door to each other, both offer hot meals. So they are part of our food security worker task force, as well as the Second Harvest Food Bank.
we also work with the other.
Yes. So campus health services, which is a lot under SWC, and then food pantry and wellness and financial wellness. We'll go to the next one. So before we get into this really quickly, sorry, just one last thing. One huge thing with financial wellness, the issue why a lot of people are suffering from food insecurity, because we don't have the proper financial aid that truly understands what is the standards of living like in Los Angeles. So under our current financial aid packages under FAFSA, you can see two students that have a taxable income of $50,000. But one student's parents can own a company that makes about $50,000 a year, whereas the other student can have a non-taxable asset worth $5 million that's making earnings at $50,000. But that's the only number that they have to report. So a lot of times that's just an example of kind of a loophole in the system. But a lot of the issues of why we're seeing an increase in the food security is because we don't have proper financial aid. At UC Berkeley, they've seen a huge increase in middle income students that are using their food security.
Okay, so like I was kind of briefly touching on, so Santa Barbara probably has the most like organized and also like most used food bank of the UC system. Like as a personal side, today there are over 5,400 students that are working in food bank regularly. And because there are so much centralized, they can actually collect data like that. Right now, we have no way of collecting data. Like all they know is like when the food runs out. But because so they give out food as well as toiletries, and then they also kind of do programming. And one really cool thing they do in Aurora that I really hope we can do through what we're trying to get accomplished is they have someone come in every week to help people with CalFresh consultations. And so because they kind of have this like they built these relationships with students, people feel comfortable coming to them about information like that. And then this is just more stuff from Santa Barbara's food bank about different things that they offer. So canned foods, toiletries, they also offer diapers, spices, cereal. As you can see, they are not really offering fresh produce here. All right. So food security is, as I said, it's a little bit of an enigma because they're kind of with the guidance in food supply chain research that keep working on it, but at the moment, just because of the way we have our food security set up, we don't have really hard data about it yet. But we had CSC, Community Service Commission, had a last quarter, like their fee was food, and they had we were tabling a room walk, and there was a tree thing, which was asking people, like, what do you think about food security? And so these are some students' responses to it. So like not giving enough basic nutrition, lacking access to affordable food, and then like not having enough nutritious food, like vegetables and junk food. So these are just like a few students' like personal experiences.
So what can we do about it? So this is a diagram of food security plan. So here we are with 2500 for the American Student Association Council Food Co-op Pilot Program. Other possible funding options, we're looking to cover the startup costs. So other potential things we might be tapping into in the future would be TGIF, because of the food that we are outsourcing is from a local farmer, and fresh produce contains that sustainability aspect opposed to outsourcing to the Central Valley or to another state. Additionally, ASRF is another potential because it does incorporate the educational background. It incorporates pamphlets, nutrition, as well as financial wellness resources. And then possibly council discretionary is another funding option that could be used.
Also, possibly the health care.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So CoFend is a nonprofit that I work with throughout being the student food collective project director. They're a nonprofit that is in Oakland, and everything they do is trying to support students to create student environments. They actually founded after the foundation of the BC Berkeley Student Food Co-op. It was founded by students who did that. And we've been working with them throughout the last few years, trying to get to the level that we're at now. Okay, this is the website from our organization. It's studentfoodcollective.org. Well, one of them is but so we've been running our food bank hub for about 2 years now, and through it, students can order fresh, locally sourced produce. Our produce comes from this farm location down the farm, and our produce is generally cheaper and higher quality than produce at neighboring supermarkets. So I don't have like the exact numbers on me right now, but usually I think our produce is about like half the cost of what you buy it. And then this is a picture of me 2 years ago with some of the produce that we sell. People might love. There's more information. So this is more details about exactly how the local buying code works. So right now we do orders every 2 weeks. What we do is we contact the producer, Asian Family Farms. They send us a product list. We put and price list, and we sell at exactly the rate that they sell for in-bulk orders. So part of the reason we can get it cheaper is because the price you're buying from farmers market is not the price that we're buying from. And then we cover some of our costs with we have an $83 membership, which covers like gas, and we have to pay for our website domain and some other things. And then we leave the store open for a few days online. People place their orders through PayPal or through their credit cards, and then we pick up the produce at the Brentwood Farmers Market and distribute it. Okay.
So what exactly is what we're asking for? So we're presenting to the ASUCLA Services Committee this Friday to ask them for space for a food co-op. And the model is going to be pretty similar to what the Student Food Collective is doing right now, except that right now the Student Food Collective is every couple of weeks, and there's no continuous source and a place for people to continuously come and have access to healthy, perishable, fresh produce. So what we're asking for is a space somewhere that's accessible, student friendly, the one that we've identified as an African Union ideally, that will have a refrigerator, some dry storage, shelves,
and that will be open so that students can come and buy this fresh produce. And the purpose of this is first to actually have a place where you can come and buy this food that's healthy and at a low cost.
And there's also no place right now, like in Akron, where you can buy this type.
Right. And the second purpose is for it to be a place that's out in the open and breaks the stigma that's associated with food insecurity right now. So a space that's open and that people can come to with a lot of educational resources, whether it's pamphlets and resource information to kind of show the student body that we are actively combating and addressing this issue and breaking the stigma that's associated with it right now. The difference between this and the current existing CPO food closet is that this will be perishable fresh produce, whereas the CPO food closet sells non-perishable.
Well, then.
Non-perishable.
And so just to clarify how the selling process works, so we're looking for it to be a food distribution center. So you'd still order online so that there is no conflict with ASU CLA with us having a cashier or anything. So if you order online, it would be a distribution center. Additionally, we're not looking to compete with any of ASU CLA's commercial sales, so that's why we specified that this is just for produce that's not otherwise available in our environment.
Okay, yeah, and so just kind of identify some spaces that we can use right now. Where Tsunami used to be next to the balloon.com, that's just currently unused space, and that would be awesome if we could use it. But we're also open to using the other available space on campus. And we want to be on campus because basically that is where the most amount of students could access it.
So like a USAC too, that's where you all come in. So we are looking to pass resolution, 2 minutes, cool. We're looking to pass a resolution, obviously later this meeting. Additionally, if you would like to sign your individual's office, like you as the office holder on this presentation, that'd be great to get you more individual names of support. Additionally, if you'd like to send representatives to from your office for the presentation, it's going to be Friday at noon in Ackerman. I can send out an email with the exact location, but if you'd like to come and support, or if you have anyone in your office that's worked on any initiatives food security related, just wants to come and support the necessity for this on campus, please hit me up. We'd love to have as much support as possible. And thank you. That is our presentation. Yay!
Now we will have 5 minutes for questions.
Jamie?
I guess first I want to say, thank you, Heather, and all of you for your office for raising awareness of this. And I think it's something that is really important to all of us in terms of, talking an issue that's really important for students on this campus. I think has been maybe overlooked in the past, and I really appreciate you bringing that to light. But based off your presentation, I thought it seems the biggest hurdle for y'all right now is funding. And with that in mind, I wonder, potentially down the road, are you interested in the idea, based on I know that I assume you're going to apply to these funding sources, but would you like to see council take more of a role in that funding conversation? And is that something that potentially be talked about in the future?
Yeah, I mean, kind of long-term goals. So right now, the startup costs, we think for the most part, we have a pretty secure handle on. What we see in ASU CLA is willing to cover the rent that we would need for having the space, which is around $5 per square foot. So that's making you think they're willing to cover that location space cost. But in the future, I mean, the ultimate goal is you have a model that's similar to Santa Barbara or Berkeley, where you have a huge self-sustainable facility with full-time staff, with a food closet, with the fresh produce, with all these entities together under one roof.
And for example, Berkeley's food co-op is they have one PE bathroom right now, everyone else is college. And so it can kind of be done on a volunteer-led model. And also looking forward to next year, I'm not 100% sure, but probably secured $2,000-$3,000 stipends for students.
So that will be definitely something for the future. And remind me something that I was going to say. So,
Sure. Talking more a little bit about funding, what is the funding model for those other food pantries or food closets, food co-ops, rather, sorry, at UCSB and at Berkeley?
Yeah.
And what is your kind of vision for a sustainable funding model for this initiative?
So the associated students at Santa Barbara, their funding model is completely different than ours. So they have about $300 in membership fees, and that goes to their overall associated students. So they have control of about $10 million. And so their funding for recruitment comes directly from their associated students. Our funding model is a little bit different, obviously. We have about $60 per membership fee. Part of that is already designated to different areas. So I think this would be a conversation that could be possible once we get more secure on our funding for student groups, and potentially a few years down the road, if we completely relook at our funding model and increase membership fees if we feel like that's necessary for student group funding. But at this point, we're trying to operate under the issue that food security exists, and there needs to be a solution right now. And I believe with all the issues that are surrounding student group funding and the crisis that we're facing, I don't think taking as much money from student groups for this right now is as feasible as it could be years later down the road. And so that's why we're asking for a smaller space that serves to serve this community of people that are suffering from food insecurity. And so it is a solution that we're looking to implement sooner than later.
There's also, so the money that we got for the startup cost of $300, they're still kind of like talking about it, but there's a possibility that there's even more money coming these days next year for food security because like the USAC president is like very interested in this.
Any other questions? All right, thanks so much.
Okay, next special presentation. Actually, because we have quorum now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, because we have quorum, let's go ahead and go to the approval of the agenda. Are there any, can you vote to approve the agenda? The exact. Second. Second by Ariel. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Check.
We'll just start an academic affairs commission report, given that Zach Aaron is not going to be able to make it, strike the community service commission report, given Amy's not going to be able to make it, strike the Orchestra Community Fund.
All right, Arvin?
Like to strike the student wellness programming fund.
Okay. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll go into a vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? Those abstain? 9-0-0 vote. The agenda has been approved. Next up, we'll move into approval of the minutes from January 26th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
This is the minutes from January 26th.
Second by Zach. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? Those that abstain? 9-0-0 vote. The minutes have been approved. Next time, we'll go on to our second special presentation to the vagina monologues. So Carly, comment on the Hi. So you'll have 15 minutes for your special presentation, followed by 5 minutes of questions from the council.
We're just gonna start with video, and then all of you. So, y'all can check this out. Thank you so much. So hi everyone again, I've been here a lot, but my name is Carly Elrith, I'm the executive director of the VA movement at UCLA. So kind of at this pretty much just gave a brief overview, and our outreach director Paul found this the other day. So we figured we'd share it with you, gives you a pretty concise summary of what we are. So in 1998, playwright, artist, activist, Eve Ensler put together a production called Vagina Monologues. She has a lot of experience with violence herself. She was sexually abused as a child by her father, was sexually assaulted multiple times throughout her life. Ended up kind of going on this journey to want to approach a lot of the stigmatization of the female body in general and the lack of conversation around violence against women and girls. What she ended up doing was conducting hundreds of interviews, straight up just to women about their vaginas, literally just asking women about their vaginas. It turned into this artistic production that is a vagina monologue. Some of the monologues are single stories that are highlighted maybe in a poetic form. Some of them are hilarious. Some of them, frankly, people are sobbing in the audience. Some of them are amalgams of trends across people's conversations that keep coming up over and over again. You've got pubic hair, masturbation, but then on the other hand, you have things like violence against women in Native communities. You have domestic violence, you have rape as a tool of war. She managed to kind of capture so many of these stories with this series of monologues. And as you hopefully saw, sorry, the print was a little small. The quote from the New York Times called it the most consequential, the most important piece of political theater of the last decade. This was in '98. So basically what happened was the show had a monumental response. All of a sudden, all of these people were speaking out about their own experiences of violence. They were looking for outlets, a lot of the times doing what Eve did and turning to art in some capacity, finding that as a space for empowerment, a space to share their stories with their communities. So pretty much a lot of people who were able to come together realized there's so much more we can be doing, and that's what the VA movement kind of grew out of the vagina monologues itself. And there at the end, it kind of scans through our core beliefs, which like changed a little bit over the years, but essentially it's about the power of art to inspire people to act. It's about the importance of local women in their own role, in the role of local women in their own empowerment. The fact that no one is going to know their struggle like they are, and empowering them to handle their own situation is the best way to help them. That everyday people, at the end of the day, can do extraordinary things to help themselves, and the importance of intersectionality. That's worded a couple of different ways. They're talking about the intersections of environment, war, racism, and something else I don't remember, but in general, talking about intersections of race, class, gender, gender identity, sexual identity, and talking about if we really are searching for holistic ways to pursue justice and a more just and safe world for everyone, we have to acknowledge these things, or we're simply recreating a lot of the systems of oppression that we seek to destroy. So yes, V-Day is kind of a sister organization, kind of came out from underneath SANA, which is the Social Awareness Network for Activism Through Art. They do a lot of wonderful service work in the city of Los Angeles, specifically through arts education and empowerment. They co-hosted a lot of different events, and this year we're co-hosting a lot of our events with them. I've probably seen on Facebook. Apparently Facebook has targeted me, and I can only invite 50 people per event now, which I didn't realize wasn't a thing for everyone, but we're trying to get the message out there as much as possible. We have a full calendar of events for the month of February, and pretty much what we're trying to do here is we wanted to share this with all of you, encourage you all to encourage any of your networks to get involved. Real quick to introduce a couple of folks that are in the room. This is Joy. She is our service learning director. So she is doing her best to incorporate elements of service into everything that we're doing. So collaborating with SANA for a day for our vagina monologues cast to go on site and work with their kids. We're hoping to do a menstrual supplies drive for homeless women in Los Angeles. It's an issue that doesn't get talked about a lot of the time. So she is doing lots of stuff like that. And actually, we're hopefully going to be collaborating with the Community Service Commission in spring when we're doing some programming outside of our big month. Neha over there, say hi. She's our PR director. Hi. And then that is Paul. Say hi also. She's our outreach coordinator. So I'm going to focus on Paul a little bit because she's our outreach coordinator for the V-Day Coalition. One of the things that we're really trying to focus on is forming relationships with different groups on campus. Like we talked about, we're trying to aim for as many different intersections of identities and issues that kind of fall under this broader category of addressing violence against women and girls. So we're really trying to instill just a sense of understanding that this is it's a global movement, and it includes everybody, and we want everyone to be participating in this in some capacity. So whether you become one of our co-programmers in the future, if you take a look at our calendar, which like, whatever, look at my next book. We have a ton of our co-programmers on there. Jen Rexy's already on there. We were on Wednesday, and Cat Band's already on there. We're in talks with IDP Office, we're working with them next quarter as well. Working with the Bruin Resource Center, we're working with all kinds of different groups on campus, really exciting stuff. Or if your group simply just kind of wants to support us on Facebook, share our events with your networks online as well as your networks kind of in person via email. That's what we're looking for there. So you'll probably be getting an email from Paul Ashley's doing outreach. And yeah, that's pretty much my spiel. Be sure to check out all of our events throughout the month of February. We've just released our big calendar. We have a few things that need to be fixed on it, but the show itself is at the end of the week. It's going to be on the hill. If you want to see it, I advise you go to Thursday. We're always turning people over the last 2 days, so your best shot is coming for Thursday's show. Any questions?
Any questions from the council?
Awesome.
Okay.
Like us on Facebook. Also Twitter and Instagram. And apparently we have a YouTube as of literally 20 minutes ago.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, that is all we have for special presentations. Next up, we have appointments. So table from last week, the appointment for the John Wooden Board of Governors, via letter sign. So I'll pass on to Ian.
Great, so I took the appointment last week just to make sure that she would be available to make meetings. She did in fact come to the meeting last week, so it seems like she'll be able to be fully committed. So bring her forward. I believe she received a unanimous recommendation from the ARC, but I'll leave that to Heather.
Okay. She did. So she is the John Wooden Board of Governors position is a consent item. So we did vote via email. She received a 300 vote of approval from ARC.
Okay, since this is a consent item, I'll open the floor for any discussion or questions. Okay, seeing none, the John Wooden Board of Governors appointment, the other sign has been approved by unanimous consent. Yay. Next up we have officer and member reports. My officer report is going to be pretty short. I've been spending most of this week solidifying meetings with all of the ASU CLA service committee individuals to kind of lobby them in a way and address any concerns that they may have. Additionally, thanking Marvin for connecting me to Active Minds. I had a meeting with the director to talk about Zen days before finals and figure out if we can incorporate any statistics or information regarding mental health and stress during finals week. So we're looking to incorporate information. If you all know any individuals that might be helpful with information before we present to the academic senate, so we can incorporate information from that. I also need to incorporate information from substance abuse regarding finals. So substance abuse often happens in things like Adderall or any other drugs that are used to enhance your performance during finals week. Additionally, I launched the website this weekend for the appointments. So it is information regarding the presidential appointments that we've already selected. So as for those who have given consent, it has their contact information, so their personal emails, as well as information about what the appointment does. We are continuously updating it, so I've asked that everyone send in updates. Stephanie sent in her update about once every 2 weeks, so we can incorporate it on the website so everyone can know what's going on with the different committees we've been doing appointments to. Additionally, I put up the 2 new appointments. So the one that we voted on last week, the internship engagement chair. So that one is now available for anyone to apply to, as well as the publicity director. So this was a position that was created last year, and I had it was created by the old facilities commissioner, Carlos Quintanilla, and the appointments that I had didn't have the new updated one, so now it's been put on the list. So if anyone has anyone that would be recommending, it would be for USAC publicity, so they'd be working on initiatives for all of our offices to kind of publicize about. Additionally, we've had one resignation from the Community Activities Committee, so CAC. So we do have one more opening if anyone is available if one student was unable to carry out their term. So if anyone has any recommendations, I would reopen up the application. So we are still looking for one more person to appoint to CAC to continue on for the rest of the year. and those are kind of my main points. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
So I was at a meeting that Congress proposed publicity of appointment. And one thing was whether or not we wanted to cite the composition, just because a lot of us do have a lot of graphics. Has there been any discussion in regards to that?
So during the discussion that we had had during that meeting, it was put in the bylaw as a non-stipended appointment. So it would involve a bylaw change to stipend that person. And from what my opinion is, considering we are very short on fees, short, especially surplus and everything this year, maybe that is a conversation for the future. If someone wants to bring a bylaw change, they can. But my recommendation, I will vote, but my recommendation would to leave the person as stipended currently, just simply because we don't have the funds to do so. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to, lastly, Heather sent out the thing regarding our announcements. I apologize, that was completely my fault for not sending it out. Thought about it when I was in the shower and then got out and just forgot. So, but from now on, everyone does strokes of genius. So let me stop. And so from now on, we'll have that Google Docs, so please put in your information from Tuesday at 5 p.m. and we'll post it to the Facebook page. And so please be sure to update that. The point of that is, again, is, we have those amazing programs that we do, and we often spend so much time during announcements that people aren't paying attention by then. It's also to shorten the officer and member reports. So I know in our bylaws it does have the president, the IDP, and the EVP, and the AAC as having officer and member reports because they update it on the means of the accountable administration, UC-wide initiatives, and so that's what the purpose of the officer and member reports is. And so what this is to do is to publicize our events better. What the publicity chair can also do is to perhaps put our events up once that person's been hired. So it is to put on the Facebook page, so it is available for students to see. Okay, and next up is Colonel Vice President.
All right, so I briefly met with Chris, and he would like more USAC involvement in leadership. It is, I believe, over spring break this coming year, and so please apply if you are interested. A lot of former council members have been involved in leadership. You meet some of the most incredible people. Highly recommend it if you don't have plans already for a break. I also briefly met with Orlando to discuss the student region visit here, and it will be happening February 28th. And Avia Vet is a UCLA student, so he, fortunately for us, is more accessible to us because he is geographically attending UCLA. But February 28th, he will be here doing one of his campus visits. And so if you do have any topics that you would like to be brought up and discussed, it'll be Marcella and Avi. So please email me by Friday at 5 p.m. because I need to send those in to him. Also, please send me your availability for the 28th so that I can figure out a time that works best for Avi and for all of us so that the most amount of people are able to attend, and I will send out the time frames later to you. On Friday, my office met with Eve, who is she's like the nutrition counselor, education coordinator for ResLife, and we were talking to her about body positivity and incorporating it into residential education and have it be more of an institutionalized effort. And so she will be reestablishing the eating and activity task force, which did exist, I believe, a few years ago when there was the Lex regarding body image, and that no longer exists. So they are bringing this back to pull people from different campus entities to discuss how we can combat body image issues on our campus. The Prevention Collective is something that was established through the Care Advocates Office. Zabi Yamasaki presented it at the Safety and Security meeting a week and a half ago, and I will be meeting with her this coming week to discuss how USAC can support that initiative. I also am meeting with Jacob Finn, who is on the Westwood Neighborhood Council along with Ian, and we will be working out ways in which we can garner student support for more lighting in Westwood. That may come in the form of a resolution, so just a heads up to all of you that I may come to council within the next few weeks with a resolution. And I will obviously email it out to you, get your input, on the language of that. And that is it for IBP.
Are there any questions?
Is there any specific areas you need to be eligible for leadership? I'm just wondering how can I connect with this?
Oh yeah, I'm not really sure about the requirements, but I would assume that they would want younger UCLA students just so that they could establish themselves as leaders, build those connections so that they can be amazing later on. Yeah, and I'm sure it says on the application, and you can also email Chris to get more information. Chris Capolola.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the external vice president.
Been engaging in budget negotiations with the university and the legislature. Been talking with senior legislators about AB 1711, the bill I talked to you all about last week, coordinating with UCBC and Congress for our upcoming visit to DC, February 22nd through 6th. And then a quick reminder that all of you are invited to tomorrow's advocacy training, 5:30 in the Hacienda room at the Faculty Center, with Nelson Peacock, who's the Senior Vice President for Government Relations. He worked with Vice President Joe Biden, and his chief of staff just got done working with Vice President Joe Biden. Between the two of them, they have an unreal amount of experience working in advocacy, and they'll have a lot of wisdom and insight as to what works and what doesn't, and conveying that information not just me as someone that's not in this job forever, but also to everyone who can kind of pass it down through the line of student advocates, I think is a good exercise. So short term, please come tomorrow if you can. You all are welcome. There will be coffee and lots of relevant information. And I really need to go to the bathroom, and that's my report.
Wait, can you say Chris questions?
I can stay with the questions.
Any questions? Jack? Okay. Any questions?
I had, a little bit about the process. So what's on your agenda for tomorrow?
Nelson's going to give a 45 to 1 hour presentation on his experience in federal advocacy, how it's relevant to state advocacy, and there's going to be time for questions, which I expect there will be a lot of, and then also time for one-on-one interaction with Chad and advice, etc.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to our student wellness commissioner.
Hi everyone. I wanted to highlight a particular programming event for our Language Task Force, which is actually the largest event of the year, and it's the annual I Love My Body. Yay! Woo! And so that starts week 6 next week, excuse me. And so it starts in Monday with the Brew Closet kickoff. The theme is going to be what's wrong with being confident. Tuesday we're going to have intersectionality between body image and mental health with the yoga, meditation, and student speaker panel. Wednesday, they're going to focus on saying, why do you move? And they're going to have Zumba and the Feel Good Fitness Fair the John Wooden Center. And then Thursday, they're going to focus on intersectionality between art and then also changing your focus on your body. And so that's going to be in Fairhope Art Gallery. And on Friday, they're going to do Spread the Love kind of event for positivity in general. And so I didn't want to highlight that because this is going to essentially start the momentum into an SWC-wide, commission-wide campaign that we are undertaking this winter. In that we're going to do a month-long campaign called Refresh. Essentially, we're going to focus on UCLA students' health and wellness in terms of hygiene, in terms of like what can you do to make sure you're living the best lifestyle that you can, more like a daily kind of lifestyle rather than just like, hey, I'm gonna do something big that I've never done. It's more of how can I improve myself on a daily basis. And so what we want to focus on is we want to take advantage of this brand new year, brand new opportunity for everyone to essentially not be a new you, but be a better you, same you, be a better you. And so we're working to provide our expertise to help others and ourselves essentially optimize our lifestyles in a college student context. And so week 7, we're going to focus on our theme is called Reclaim. And that's going to be reclaiming your bodily health, including hygiene, including talking about pubic hair, STDs, and general grooming and hygiene and stuff. And so that's Reclaim. Week 8, we're going to focus, our theme is Recycle. It's going to focus on environmental health, environmental safety, and the matters of such and how it connects to your personal lifestyle and your personal health. Week 9, our theme is called Recharge. That's going to be focused on sleep and mental health, and that's going to involve like a lot of everyone's essentially daily routine, not everyone, mostly everyone's daily routine, how to help everyone out in those precious hours. And also, week 10, we're going to cap it off with our theme is going to focus on Refine, and then it's going to be about oral and dental health, which is something I'm personally undertaking with another peer of mine at SWC, and we're going to focus on oral health advocacy on this campus and awareness, because every single one of us often overlooks something that's so important to us. And it's definitely a very, very general public health topic that a lot of us at UCLA can relate to. And so we're partnering with the School of Dentistry and the Ash Center to essentially bring oral health screenings right on this campus for the first time in the history of UCLA. And so that's going to be week 10. And so overall, we wanted to take advantage of this winter quarter where usually people are a little less active, a little different in their perceptions of how the year is going. And so we wanted to take advantage and really try to put all of this effort. And so this is a commission-wide effort. So every single SFC committee is going to be involved, and we'll also be working with different other entities on campus.
Are there any questions? Points?
Yes, so we were the one of the event called the Users and recognize that there's an environmental racism, so I don't know if you would like to
That's amazing.
touch and
Yeah,
see if
definitely.
we could collaborate some.
Yeah, certainly. I would reach out to you. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? I'd just like to remind everyone for the awesome web reports, if you have programming events, please put them in the Google Doc. So we can have those available for the announcements that can be in the Google Doc on Facebook. Just so we can make sure that we're using off the reports to talk about, like initiatives and stuff, like, you talked about one of the events coming on, maybe another programming event, please try to put it in the Google Docs, so we can have it available for everyone on Facebook. Sure. Okay, next up, we have our administrative representatives. Go straight to Michael Scott. Okay, Christine Lotto. Okay, how do you doing?
Just a couple things. So I sent out an email earlier today in regards to Bruin Day. So we have panel boards or marketing that's going to be out during Bruin Day to let students know about student government and how to get involved. So it will capture the images of your portraits from the website. It's always great if you can get new photos from your office initiatives this year, placed throughout. In the email, you gave the sample from last year to give an idea of what it will look like. So you all have some really nice photos from your offices or any programming that you've done. Please send it my way. We'd love to incorporate those pictures, the updated pictures, into the program. Also, each office kind of has a little blurb about what your office is. If you want to make any changes to that, please review it, or we'll just use the same language we used in years past. So they've given me a date that I need that. I think it's February 26th, but if you aim to get it sooner, it's always better. It's so easy to forget to do those kind of things. So just send it to me as soon as you can. So I'm just looking for pictures from your offices, which should be fun and easy. And any edits you want to make to the language, if any. You don't have to change it if you don't want to.
We're going to be doing an open house.
We can discuss it. Yeah, so during Bruin Day, we always do an acronym tour. Stay in mind. We always do an acronym tour for the incoming students or the welcoming of students to give them an idea of what the student union is about. And a few years back, we wanted to open up the opportunity to also kind of do an open house of USAC. So a portion of the tour will lead them to essentially the second floor of Kirkhoff from the ASUCLA tour guide. Or actually, what we've done in the past is the tour guides will go with the ASUCLA they'll kind of team up, which is kind of fun because ASU like tour guides may say, oh, here's the Academic Grand Ballroom we put on events. And then, yeah, there are events, there's CBC, there are rolling, there are all these things you can kind of talk about how student government is actually involved with these spaces. But we can also have just lead you up to where your offices are and you can have some staff. It doesn't have to be council members, usually staff volunteers will come and give them a tour of the office area and what is USAC, a little like couple minutes for each tour. So if y'all are interested in doing that again, I think it's been, it's been positive in years past, so we'd love to coordinate on keep posted. I don't need to speak. There's some time. And then, secondly, I can't remember, but I'll email you all. Oh, yes. I'm meeting with my webmasters and my staff tomorrow. I've emailed them the link to adding the announcements, so that hopefully will become just an easy flow. I just want to meet with them first and explain how it will work and how I want to take the blurbs and kind of structure them look more like an announcement. So, just wanted to let you know, the announcements will be up a little bit later this week, but hopefully we'll start getting streamlined so we'll be up there. Any other questions? Okay. We'll go straight into our fund allocation. So for contingency programming.
So there's one that has that office website and that is a transfer to your representative office for transfer loan. Transfer required $400 requested $400 and the finance committee recommended.
Okay, I entertain a motion to stop.
I'll move to approve the contingency program applications.
All right, there's a second. Second by Trent. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? And those abstain? 801 votes. The $100 has been approved for contingency program. Next up, we'll go for the rest of the groups.
And there are 13 communities that apply. They required $16,749.08. They requested $10,261.06, and the finance committee recommended $2,734.
Okay, I can entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve the $2,734 contingency program allocation.
Okay, and then second? Second by Heather. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? Those who abstain? So 900 vote. The contingency program allocation has been approved. Next up, we have for the EPP room vendors.
Yes, we have two applications. Both are grandfathered travel grants, so it's $500 conferences for Chicanos and Latinos for community medicine, and the other for the Society of Women Engineers. Both applications were excellent and cost effective.
Okay. Any discussion or objection regarding the EPP vendors program allocation? Seeing none, it's been approved by consent. Next up, we have the academic success referendum fund.
Yes, so again, this one's kind of a leftover one. Unfortunately, the student never got back to me, regarding the faculty letter of support. But nonetheless, it still is for to be a great event at the CC Association in number 64 this week. So as a result, even though we don't have one extra application, so we're penalizing them a little bit, nonetheless, $250.
Okay. Is there any discussion regarding? Okay. That is it for our fund allocations. Old business, so we'll move straight into new business. So we have one agenda item, new business, resolution in support of the establishment of a food co-op. Pull it up, and then Patty, do you have it over? And then since I apologize, Zach Dameron had requested to be on the resolution in support, and he had gone back to right after I turned it in. So I added his name to the Google Doc, and then Marvin also added the same as well. So we want to get the whole, so all the council is sponsored.
Yeah.
We don't have to be sponsored, but it's great to get the whole food security work group all in support. So if everyone wants to come up and read, well, read one sentence. Oh, we know. Yeah. Oh, look at you.
There you go. Biggest threat.
Alrighty. Okay. So I'm starting out. A resolution in support of the establishment of a student food co-op. Sponsored by the president, Heather Hartman, interim vice president, Ian Kokoff, facilities commissioner, Zach Dameron, community service commission, and Marvin Chang, student wellness commissioner. Okay.
Sure. Whereas the 1996 World Food Summit stated, food security exists in all people at all times, at physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. And
Whereas food security consists of three pillars: availability in sufficient quantities of food, access to obtain appropriate funds for a nutritious diet, and use of basic nutrition and care. And
Whereas 31% of Americans have had to choose between paying for food on their education, 51% choose between paying for house or for their food, and 79% rely on cheaper, unhealthy options.
Whereas in 2010, 1 in 5 students throughout the University of California said that they skipped meals often or very often. This number did not include graduate students. And
whereas at the University of California, Berkeley, 28% of students said they skip meals to save money.
whereas financial aid packages do not properly account for standards of living, at the University of California, Berkeley, the average financial aid package allocated $286.70 for the academic year. And
whereas a student food co-op brings sustainable and affordable food options to the UCLA community. And
whereas the student food co-op will work with the bulk buying student food collective at UCLA, which buys fresh produce and perishable goods that are cheaper than market value. And
whereas the student food co-op will create an inclusive environment for those facing food insecurity and will connect students with educational and financial resources that will promote food security. And
let it be resolved that the Undergraduate Students Association Council, the support of food co-op at the University of California, Los Angeles.
Yay! Okay, it's a couple of typos. But all right, thank you everyone for reading. Zach, everybody out. Okay, so I'll go ahead and make friendly amendments to the end and say the University of Student Association Council supports the creation of, so instead of so supports the creation, or the city establishment to stay consistent with the title. Supports the establishment of a student food co-op. And then there was one other typo.
There's two others.
Yeah, student, they're both the things like this.
And then it should be at,
Yeah, clause 7 is a student co-op will bring sustainable or bring sustainable.
I fixed that one.
Oh, you just want to.
Yeah, we're seeing one from the beginning. Who's my else? Michael?
That third line.
Yeah.
That's the,
Oh, housing.
Housing.
those three statistics were taken from that graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Those are based on Americans, and those are based on the percentage of hungry Americans.
Percentage of Americans.
Really?
Oh, maybe it is hungry. I see.
Because the graphic said 46 in the corner.
Oh,
it said 40.
Right.
It said something per a million Americans
Or
meet this
or
caliber. That was my understanding of the graphics.
You're right.
But
You're
if the graphic was
you're right. Yeah, it was 46 million, right? So 31%.
like there was a label on that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the label of that type of fruit. It was like hungry something.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'll look that up in the meantime. Yeah.
Whereas as the like results paragraph, I think technically right before it says and right before, but I think the proper form is to omit the and or
or it's just a period.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
and will promote food security, period.
No, right, I'm talking, yeah.
Yeah.
And then therefore let it be resolved?
No, they just
This
list
period,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
It's just a new sentence.
Okay. So going back to that statistic, Michael, so it says Feeding America 2014 Hunger in America report, and then it breaks down the numbers. So do you think that is referencing?
I was just sharing my interpretation of the graphic.
Okay.
Those numbers seem like they were running.
Okay, let me look up the original, the Feeding America report.
I like to find options
Yeah.
of people aren't choosing.
Right. Okay, in the meantime, I look up this statistic. Are there any other amendments to the language? Yeah. Yeah.
Is the bulk buying club an actual club? Do you have it like capitalized for the 8th class, the student food co-op and work? Yeah, is that an actual club, the bulk buying club, or is that just?
So it's the Bulk Buying Club Student Food Collective is the name of the club.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones?
And then for the category for the 7th class, whereas student food co-op brings sustainable, do you want to say brings or will bring? Kind of like the direction.
Probably will bring since. So where was that?
Yeah, 7th class.
Okay. Are there any other amendments to the language? Specifically? Sorry, let's entertain a motion and then we'll go into the conversation about the whole thing. Zach?
I'm going to approve the resolution
Okay.
establishing a resolution in support of the establishment of the student food co-op.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Ian. All right, so now we'll go into any other discussion regarding the language or regarding the overall resolution. And in the meantime, I'm looking up the statistic. Is there any conversation regarding the overall resolution? Heather, thank you.
I really would like to see a food co-op in Ackerman Union because I think that it would be a visible reminder of how we and ESDC are here to serve students and the issues that they face. And so I think that it would be a reflection of us addressing a huge issue on this campus, as well as if we put it in a prime location like Ackerman, I think that it somewhat combats the stigma of food insecurity and having to like go and seek out food. That a lot of people feel kind of like uncomfortable talking about that issue, and so I think putting it at such a place that is so popular and that does get so much traffic will kind of highlight that that we are here to support students who do face food insecurity on our campus.
Okay, so looking up the executive summary from the Feeding America Hunger report, it says 31% of households report having to choose between paying for food and paying for education for a child or an adult each year. So it does not specify of those who are considered hungry, so it is out of the general population. So I mean, that's pretty shocking, but just to clarify that for everyone. Okay, is there any other discussion regarding the resolution? Ian?
Just as a co-author of the resolution, I think it's an amazing step. I don't think we do provide enough resources to support food insecurity on this campus. There are some, but I think that as we've seen with these statistics, we're talking about how I think a lot of people who are food insecure, are accessing food that's not nutritious, that's not making them healthy, and it's more than just student issue, social justice issue, and I really think this is an important step. So hopefully the council, standing behind this resolution and will send it out to states, this needs to happen. And I know you're doing great work in meeting with members of the services committee, so confident that we'll take the right step.
Thank you. And just as a comment for the sources, so a lot of the information cited at the bottom is from the UC Food Access and Security PowerPoint presentation by Rupert P. Pinedo. He's the one that works at Berkeley's graduate student. He's one of the heads of the Global Food Initiative, and so he's the one who's a lot of research that came out from PowerPoint presentation that they gave to council of residents, and that's where I took a lot of the data from, so. Okay, so seeing no other discussion, we'll go ahead into a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? And those who abstain? To a 9-0-0 vote, a resolution in support of the establishment of the student food co-op has been approved. Yay, thank you everyone. All right, very exciting. So again, if anyone wants to come on Friday, please let me know. I will send out another email with the location and time. But thank you all so much for your support. So now, as per our bylaws, we still do have announcements on the agenda. So what I think the best use of this time will be is to ask any questions regarding the announcements that have been posted to the Google Docs. So if anyone has any questions about clarification to the time, location, or anything, we can still offer this time since per our bylaws, it is still incorporated in our agenda.
I just have a general question. So, just for clarification, moving forward, there's gonna be no more announcements, and then it's all gonna be electronic.
It's electronic, yes. So I mean, unless something last minute comes up, or if you have questions, we'll still have this time designated in our agenda since it is part of our bylaws. So we'll still have this open time, but in regards to announcements, put it in the Google Docs will be via electronic so we can all see it, share it to our offices, share on Facebook, on the USAC website.
Okay.
Cool, so are there any questions regarding announcements? Okay, seeing none, I can entertain a motion to adjourn. Zach?
Move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Ariel, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? And those that abstain? At 8:16, I adjourn the meeting. You can shut off USAC Live. Thank you so much. I'll go on to code and welfare and